IPDC Europe. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet our players. Would you please welcome, from Finland, Kim Viljanen! And now, ladies and gentlemen, from England, it's Hollywood, Chris Dobey!
Second half of the afternoon session here on the final day of play at the Austrian Darts Open in Vienna, and as was the case with our second match of the afternoon between Jamie Bain and Martin Schindler, this once again is a massive, massive opportunity for these two players to advance to a European Tour quarter-final. Chris Dobey has been there before. He was very impressive in beating Robert Thornton and Dave Chisnall in reaching the last days of the German Darts Masters last year. But for Kim Viljanen, it would be a step into the unknown. Both players really catching the eye this weekend for very, very different reasons. Dobey has only dropped one leg. That was against David Pallett in his opening match, winning 6-1. He blitzed his way through his second match against Stephen Bunting. But for Kim Viljanen, a 6-5 win against Krzysztof Ratajski when Ratajski had match darts, and then yesterday seeing off the number 2 seed and a winner of 3 European Tour events this year, Peter Wright. They come together for this one for a place in the quarterfinals and a chance to take on either Kim Huybrechts or Joe Cullen. Paul Nicholson back alongside me for this one. It's all set up very nicely for either of these two, isn't it? It has indeed, hasn't it?
Game on. Spent a lot of time with both of these guys this weekend. Had the privilege of actually speaking to Kim Viljanen a little bit on Friday night after his win against Ratajski.
That's wrong graphic. No scoreboard at the moment, but you heard the call there of George Noble. 180 for Chris Dobey to start things off.
83. Every European tour I spend time with Chris Dobey. It's hard not to spend time with this young man.
Just the wrong side. Well, 5 perfect darts out of 6 there for Chris Dobey. Ideal start for the 27-year-old from Northumberland.
And it does make you think, who's the pressure on in this game? Maybe Chris Dobey a little bit more than Viljanen. He's been on pretty much a free roll since he beat Ratajski. 100. Just get the feeling that the Finn is maybe feeling the heat on that stage today. He's just wafting that shirt a little bit. But he was very kind to give us a bit of a finish lesson the other night, wasn't he?
Yeah. Just talked us through one or two pronunciations. Just a nice insight into his life, the way he has to balance the darts with the day-to-day job that he has back home as well.
58. Yeah, he's back to work tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, he's qualified for Leverkusen next weekend, but he has to go home for 2 or 3 days to fulfill his duty with Mitsubishi.
81.
Well, Viljanen won't be panicking, or Viljanen will not be panicking just yet. He was 2-0 down against Peter Wright. He took him a while to get going. And okay, he's lost the first leg here as well. Chris Dobey finishing that one off in 14 darts. So very neat and tidy start for Chris Dobey as well.
Looking very good. And he always looks good when he's throwing, Chris Dobey, but you can just tell when he's confident and fluid. There's no perspiration on the brow. Stone-faced, really. And I was trying to find a connection between 140. The northeast of England and Finland, you know, because I told a little nugget story yesterday of when Northumberland played Merseyside back in 1999. 177. Kim Viljanen is definitely not going to go away in this match, that's for sure. But I found a little connection between the northeast of England and Finland. 140. And that's because the Finland Open has been won in the past by 2 people from the northeast of England. Those people being Paul Knighton in 2010, or Butch as we call him, big lad, and Paul Jennings, very talented right-hander from the Hartlepool area of the northeast. And that was the following year in 2011.
177 and 139 for Viljanen gets him into position here on 125. Treble 19 would leave the bullseye, but it's not to be this time around. Dobey is potentially going to pounce here on 164. This would be an absolute heartbreaker for Kim Viljanen if he were to take it out, and he might well take it out as well. Dobey looking at 19s again. He'll come back upstairs here.
With that first dart, he will have fancied that so much because it was perfect. But who can hit the 68? That's a good miss, you know.
It is. It's not too bad.
28.
As long as he made commends and finished the job, but he didn't. And Dobey himself is looking at 68 here. He's now looking at double 4. And he takes out double 4 for a 2-0 lead. As I said, Viljanen was 2-0 down yesterday against Peter Wright. It just took him a while to get going. There were encouraging signs, though, in that second leg for Viljanen with the 177 and the 139, but he could have done maybe with an extra dart. And that first dart scuppered him slightly.
And still, Chris Dobey's only lost one leg in this tournament, which is, that's just sick.
Astonishing. 14 legs won, 1 lost.
45.
Starting to look like Krzysztof Ratajski's qualification ratio, which is bordering on the incomprehensible.
Well, this is a significant weekend for Chris Dobey in more ways than one, because he's not made it beyond the first round of any of the European Tour events he's qualified for this year, so he's certainly improved on that. But going into this weekend, he was 33rd in the Pro Tour Order of Merit, just 250 quid or so behind Justin Pipe. Now, with the World Match Play on the horizon as well, a good weekend here for Chris Dobey. Might well make all the difference. The World Match Play featuring the top 16 in the PDC Order of Merit, and then the top 16 qualifiers from the Pro Tour Order of Merit. So he's in the frame once again. The cut-off point, I think, is early July.
140.
There's a cluster of players around that 32 mark. Something like £3,000 separating 7 players between Ronnie Huybrechts and Vincent van der Voort.
60.
And Dobey is very much in the mix.
He was ecstatic that Ronnie Huybrechts was defeated last night by Mensah Suljovic, and the fact that some of his other rivals have been eliminated too. So now he can do himself the favours instead of
relying on others.
Yeah, exactly. Not doing himself any harm here.
Yeah, Viljanen is down to 147 on the Dobey throw.
96. Give me 147.
The snooker shot, 147. Only 3 bits of perfection needed on this one, though. A lot of people ask what's harder, a 9-darter or 147. I think it's a 147.
123.
Now, will you look at 19s here, first of all?
Yes, he will. 66 left. Single 16, gambled for double 9 now.
105. You require 32.
Well, the approach play was there, but Viljanen can steal one back here by taking out double 16, and he's back in the hunt. And just so many similarities with that performance against Peter Wright yesterday for Kim Viljanen.
I don't think Chris's dad, Gordon, would mind me saying this, but if you take the glasses off Kim Viljanen, he doesn't look that dissimilar to Chris's dad.
140.
Well,
Same frame.
We'll put that one to the committee later, Paul.
Only difference is Kim Viljanen is in a short sleeve shirt, and as incredible a dart player as Gordon Dobey is, Chris's dad, he always plays in a jumper. Old school stuff.
You wouldn't want to do that here this weekend?
No, you wouldn't.
Well, Viljanen...
We've seen some historic photos recently, people playing in jackets.
Crazy. Well, it was one of the talking points of yesterday, the win over Peter Wright, but the fact he did it with an average of 85.14, it was the lowest winning average of the day. Wright himself averaged 97.66, and it was just a perfect illustration of how the discrepancies can materialise when you look at the statistics 92. Like that. Averaged 96 in that win against Ratajski, who missed one match start at double 16 during that one. But Viljanen, I should say, that day was exemplary on his doubles at times. 4 from 6 in the first 4 legs that he won. Then went off the boil a little bit, but just found that little something extra towards the end in the final leg.
You know what else as well? I don't think there's going to be many people who would want to draw him for next Friday in Leverkusen, because he's obviously got a bit of confidence. Well, he's tail up this weekend. No matter what happens here, he's going to be a bit of a dicey draw for someone in Germany next week.
Yeah, Viljanen coming through the qualifier for Leverkusen when they had a cluster of them all together in Oslo in the middle of May, and he came through for this one and for Leverkusen as well. Now he's looking at the bull.
86.
Chris Dobey seems to have just gone off the boil a little bit here, and he's gifting more darts at doubles to Viljanen. But
you never know.
16.
This will hurt Kim Viljanen, but it's not to be for Dobey. Missed dart at double 16 for a 3-1 lead, and Viljanen can level things up with 9 and double 16 here now. And that's the way to go. Just so many similarities yesterday. Just needed those first 2 legs to find his stride and settle himself down.
I was talking to Chris this morning. He was having his 9 darts practice on stage. He looked ready, cool, calm and collected as usual. And we were just talking about the effect of when the arenas get really hot and how that affects a player's body. Well, a lot of the guys have been talking about how their hands swell up, because when you get hotter, their body swells a bit. And the practice room, which is down on stage right, quite low, it's quite cool in there. There's no real air conditioning, but everything's been blocked off. No real heat coming through, so it's a lovely room to be in. And when you get out there, it's drastically different. So you've got to be able to play when your body feels slightly different.
Yeah. 2 really good characters, these two as well, by the way. You see Dobey around, he's always happy to say hello and have a chat, and he's always got a smile on his face, especially now he's really in a good place in his personal life as well, having just become a father. And chatting to Kim for the first time the other night as well was really insightful too. We touched upon quite a lot of stuff, you know, wearing a Liverpool shirt, and we talked about the Finnish connection with Liverpool. He was happy to talk about his hometown, the fact it gets dark at 1:30 in the afternoon in Finland as well in the winter time. It was an engaging half hour or so. Anyway, 1-3-1 for a 3-2 lead here.
It's not going to be on this occasion.
First dart has cost him that, but he'll try and set it up as best he can. 90 away.
Another hard 3-darter here for Dobey. 2 treble 19s. Left double 16, but he can really pressure this 90.
Oh, he's looking for the 17th there, and okay, potentially no great damage done because he's on 64, but Viljanen here is on 90.
Chris Dobey would much rather be on something below 60, trust me. Single 20. Bullseye for the lead. The lead he has. And the bullseye was quite kind to him last night against Peter Wright, and it's kind again to him now.
It's another break of throw, but this time it means that Viljanen, having trailed 2-0, now leads 3-2.
We're starting to see possibly the real Kim Viljanen, the person who dominates the Nordic-Baltic darting circuit, the person who has come through in the last couple of years and played some darts on TV and on the European Tour, but maybe it's time for someone from Finland to really make an impact. Yeah. And I'm not just talking about the Ulf factor. I'm talking about someone doing it on the dartboard and with the rest of the PDC family.
Dobey watched by Chris Quantock, and I believe that's one of his friends from home as well, who's made the journey out here to Vienna for this weekend. Viljanen doesn't seem to have any backing here this weekend. It's a bit of an ordeal to get from Finland to Vienna anyway for the weekend.
Yep. You tend to find that the Finland guys always come on their own. They do a bit of a Lee Harvey Oswald, the lone gunman.
60.
Don't go near any school book depositories. Or stay away from the 6th floor.
137.
There's something about the people from Scandinavia, though. They're ice cold, aren't they? It's got a very deadly demeanour. It's just, well, they don't get nervous.
He's had to be exactly that way. He's had to keep his cool, not just here this weekend, but in qualifying. He had 2 6-5 wins in qualifying, as well as the 2 6-5 wins on stage here. Harry Jukkola in the very first round of qualifying, 6-5. Marco Kantele, 6-5 as well in the final round of qualifying. And then Ratajski and Wright, 6-5 here as well. Well, that is, again, an exemplary approach from Kim Viljanen. Dobey, 64 away here.
And yet again, he's got to take out a huge 3-darter to get on the board again. And Chris Dobey's got to stop the rot. He really does, because it looks like Viljanen is going 4-2 up the way he's been hitting double 16. No problem, 3 out of 3.
Really eye-catching stuff this now, you have to say. He's quietly going about his assassination business here.
96.
Really lots to admire about the way that Kim Viljanen has gone about his business here today. Dobey didn't do a great deal wrong. I mean, since then he's not done a great deal wrong either, but he's just missed that crucial dart at a double 16, didn't he, in the previous leg or the leg before, and that just opened the door for Viljanen to find the break. But we say it time and time again, you know, in a best of 11 format, you know, the fine margins really are accentuated, aren't they? And Dobey's certainly found that here.
100.
I guarantee you this as well. Chris Dobey did not underestimate Kim Viljanen today at all. He doesn't underestimate anybody.
130.
Just to put this into some perspective as well, this is only Viljanen's second appearance on the European Tour. He made his debut at the European Open in Dusseldorf last summer. He beat Martin Schindler 6-1 that day as well. That's had a bit of perspective put on it too. He then lost 6-1 to Gary Anderson. But he will be back next weekend as well for his third European Tour event.
I remember that weekend, Rob. That was the first time I ever met you.
But it lives in your memory, Paul.
I've got a decent memory. I always remember the first time I meet people. Now,
you never get a second chance to make a first impression, Paul.
Indeed, indeed. Doesn't matter how good Mr. Viljanen is, he can't finish 168. But Chris Dobey
can finish 72.
Stops the rock with this.
Yeah. Well, it would only be a holder throw as well, but it, as you say, significantly is the fact that he can stop the rock. 16 then, 4 tops to trim the deficit to 4-3, and Viljanen has just been invited back to the hockey here, and the way he's playing and the way he's finishing, I would not be surprised at all to see him take this out. He's taken a moment or two here as Dobey wipes himself down at the back of the stage.
Another one of them. But double 16 again. Oh, so close to a piece of genius.
A missed dart at double 16 for a 5-2 lead.
He needs this badly.
Well, Dobey can't afford to give Viljanen another shot at double 16 because he surely will take it out with 3 darts in hand. And that could be another big turning point in the outcome of this match as well. He has been very, very effective on double 16. Maybe just feeling the tension here now as he closes in double 8 instead. Pressure, what pressure, says Kim Viljanen. Chris Dobey really feeling the heat now. He's lost 5 legs on the spin, and Viljanen is 1 away from a first ever European Tour quarter-final in only his second European Tour event. What a story we have in them. Stories everywhere you turn this weekend, or potential stories wherever you look. Martin Schindler reaching his first European Tour quarter-final. Cristo Reyes, for so long, couldn't find his way into a European Tour quarter-final. He's now back in the hump once again this weekend. And here, Kim Viljanen, well, could well trump a lot of them here.
He could well emulate the great Magnus Carus, who had a good run in Gibraltar.
Yeah. And we talked about players who don't hold a tour card.
Not that old chestnut.
Going deep in tournaments.
There's a touchy subject to the guys with the tour cards. They hate it when non-tour card guys do well. They hate it.
Well, he's not there yet, Viljanen. Could do with a treble or a big treble here.
54.
Likewise, Dobey.
Well, he saw on Chris Dobey's face, in between legs, just what he thought of the way he's been playing. He uttered the word rubbish.
Yeah, we said after he won the second leg that he'd won 14 legs and conceded 1 this weekend. He's now just lost 5 on the bounce. And Viljanen is in the mood for more here.
140.
82 away now.
Kim Viljanen, has he got a nickname?
I don't believe he has.
I'll have to sort that out then.
84.
There's lots to work with
You
there.
require 82.
82 for the match.
The flying Finn on the verge. On the verge. He's looking at tops. And he takes out tops. And Kim Viljanen's story continues here in only his second European Tour event. He's won 6 legs on the bounce after dropping the first 2. It's the end of the road for Chris Dobey, and it's all smiles for the Flying Finn. He may not have a nickname, but perhaps he doesn't need one. He's letting his darts do the talking anyway, and that is a very accomplished and a very effective and a very assured display as well from the 35-year-old from Fanta. He will be back on stage this evening for a quarter-final showdown with either Joe Cullen or Kim Huybrechts. Those two will battle it out next, but the stories just keep on coming here at the Austrian Darts Open in Vienna.